So when they drafted Jordan, at the time I was like, we need some help for Rodgers, but it worked for us last time. It worked for this time. But I am biased. I've been kind of rooting hard for Love for a long time, and he's been good. But what do you think Love's ceiling is? Because I think it's MVP.
What's going on? It's Keyshawn, and we got another episode of All Facts and No Breaks. But before we get going, I want to remind you all to follow All Facts Pod on all social media or wherever you get your podcast from. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube. Currently, we're sitting at 70,000. Yeah. 70,000. I'm thinking a lot of money. So 70,000, not 700,000, 70,000 subscribers, and we need to hit 100K before the Super Bowl. We are currently a new show. We haven't been around 10,000 years, but we need your help to get there. But before we get started, I want to say one thing. We have a special guest that's here with us. He is the host of Viall Files, if I'm saying that right, Viall Files podcast, and he's a former Bachelor, Nick Viall. Did I say that right, Nick?
You got it.
Close?
Yeah, close enough.
Is it Nick Viall or Viall?
Just like don't over-pronunciate the Viall.
So just Nick Viall.
It's a Viall.
Oh, Viall. Oh, there you go. What's happening, Nick?
Good to be with you, man.
Good, man.
Yeah.
So my son, Keyshawn Jr., joins us on the show as well. Glad to have you here.
Yeah, it's good to be with you. I'm glad I get to talk some ball right now. I spend most of my day talking about reality TV and pop culture, which I love, and relationships and dating, but it's fun to talk about and geek out and talk about football.
Well, professionals, sports in general, whether it's football, basketball, baseball, it's a reality.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
pop culture.
Yeah, that's what I love. That's what I love about football. We're
literally a reality.
We try to incorporate more football in our show, but yeah, football is just kind of it's become more pop culture. You got Taylor Swift going to games, the intersection between pop culture and
You think
football.
Taylor Swift knows anything about what she's watching?
I do, actually. I think she's.
See, I don't.
I
think the only thing she knows is 15 throws to 87 catches it. Everybody in the box cheers, she cheers.
You don't make $1 billion business like Taylor Swift has and not like do the homework and like Taylor knows how to be in any room she enters, and I think she's learned enough to know how to have the conversation she wants to have.
Yeah, I think the conversation she could have, but I mean, like,
I bet she would surprise you if you were to try to talk ball with her.
No, she wouldn't surprise me. No.
Okay.
I've been in boxes with people that actually own the teams.
Sure.
They don't know what the fuck they even looking at.
Well, I believe that.
Like, they literally have no idea, Nick. You sitting there going, this dude owns the team, and how long you been on? Been on the team 35 years. Doesn't even know what's happening.
I believe that because that's like nepotism and things like that. But like, Taylor,
nepotism is great. That's why he's here.
Yeah,
sure.
shout out.
Well,
nepotism.
but like what you do with that nepotism can be, but like, and it sounds like maybe the owner of the son who inherited the team, but like Taylor, I'm just saying, like she built that business from the ground up.
Scared of the Swifties.
I'm not scared.
They're not coming after you.
I respect what she's done.
Her that music side, yes. But I really, honestly,
I think she's competitive.
Would like to know if she really knows it's 3rd and 4. And they're down by 4, and it's 2 minutes to go. What should they do?
100%. She is definitely not going to go to all these games and not know what's going on. I don't think she's a person who wants to like be thought of as like don't ask, like and not in the know. I just think she's done her homework. I don't think she's an expert, but she's done whatever she needs to do to be in this room and like hang out with Kelsey's mom and like, you know what I'm saying? I don't think she wants to be thought of as like the arm candy girlfriend is just showing up and just happy to be there. I think she wants to support her man. And the same way Jason's coming out dancing and performing with her at her concert, he's got to play that part.
I haven't seen. I saw a picture, but
he's
I
really
didn't see him
they've
do it.
They've really embraced each other's life,
No, I've seen a picture of him standing on the stage with like a top hat on and like I think it was a tuxedo or something.
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
never
yeah.
seen. I didn't see the video.
Oh, that was kind of it. Yeah,
Oh, was that it?
Yeah, like he came out on stage during the Eras tour and like performed in front of I don't know how many people, but he had to learn how to do that. And I'm just guessing that Taylor is like I don't know if she's like turned into the biggest fan in the world, but if you're asking me like situationally, at the end of the game, could you walk up to her and be like, "Hey Taylor, like what's going on?" Could she bring you up to? I bet she could. I bet she could bring you up to speed.
I'm not even going for it, but we got something in common. We both lost on Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah.
I finished early. You went a couple more rounds.
Early?
How far did you?
Yeah, tell them how early.
Oh, I finished. I was off in number 1. I was done.
Oh, okay.
I got my money and was deucing.
There you go.
Yeah, I was good. I was good though.
What happened?
I don't have social. I'm not a social media guy. I'm not like I don't have it. Like I literally don't have it. And at this time, we're talking about that's the way. Obviously, their platform, the dancing parts has been there forever. But over the years, it's evolved. And so at the time that I was doing it, or I decided to do it, because they had been asking me for like ever, like, I don't know, man. They might have asked 50 times, and I kept saying no. And then finally, the people at ESPN was like, "Will you just do it?" You know, it's ABC, the whole deal. I was like, "All right, man." And then I don't have social media. Like I don't have Instagram, and I'm not sitting. I don't have it on my app. I don't have any of that, and that's part of getting the people out in the public to vote for you.
Did you enjoy the week of dancing that you had?
It was cool. It was interesting. It's something out of the box for me.
Yeah.
It was fine.
It's not the same as like going to a wedding and getting down.
No,
like
but I also feel like I was somewhat up against it because literally I would probably say I think it was maybe 6 to 7 of the other contestants were all professional fucking dancers.
Or performers.
No, they all had dancing backgrounds.
Sure.
Like literally all of them.
Yeah.
Like I'm not beating Amber Glee.
Sure.
Like it's not happening, right? Like you're like it's just not gonna happen.
I don't know if Bill Nye had dancing experience. But
Bill Nye did not have dancing experience, but Bill Nye has a social media presence. And when he has a social media presence versus your father that doesn't have one, he's going to get the weirdos voting for him.
No, that makes sense. Has Fox asked you to do Special Forces yet?
I wouldn't do that, though.
Okay.
There's no need for that. There's not. Let somebody else go and mess around and do that sort of stuff. This is not my... Dancing with the Stars took forever.
Some former like Cam Newton's on it.
Yeah, but Cam Newton should probably do that.
Okay.
Me, on the other hand, not going to be doing it. So
it's a rewarding experience.
So, you were on The Bachelorette as well.
I was.
And then The Bachelor.
Then The Bachelor, yeah.
And so I guess we have a little bit of that in common as well because I did like an episode or whatever, a scene with The Bachelorette when they were out in Ventura County. It was a girl, the young lady was playing football. She was like doing some football stuff.
Did you like host a date for the show?
No, it was like I was judging along with the guy.
Okay.
I was judging them running around playing football. It was interesting.
I thought you said we had a lot in common. Like you used to be a bachelor and like.
Well, I did used to be a bachelor. I did do all of that back in the day.
We can talk about that in front of.
No, he doesn't care. I'm divorced from his mom. Why the hell would he care? He's older now. He's grown. He's looking for his own wedding down the line.
How old?
26.
26.
26 years old and out here hunting like a fish.
How's that going?
It's all right.
All right.
We're getting there.
Okay.
We're getting there.
Take your time, man. You're only 26.
I'll just be a bachelor for now, like you.
So after you did The Bachelor, then you became The Bachelor. What was that like for you? Like what?
It's terrible.
Terrible.
Yeah. But I mean, listen, you're making a TV show, and it's anywhere from like 16 to 18-hour days, 7 days a week.
Jeez.
And how many months?
It's 9 weeks total, so 2.5 months.
Oh.
And as the lead of the show, because whether you're the Bachelor, you're the lead, and then you have like anywhere from like 25 to I think I had 30 women show up night one, and like when I was in their shoes, like you don't know what the hell's going. Like you're kind of in charge of everyone's emotions, and you have to do like on the first night you got to do like 21st dates, like
crazy.
That's exhausting.
What do you mean? Like you had to talk to somebody?
Yeah, you have to
people?
meet. All the women and sit down and tell me about yourself. Why are you here? Blah blah blah. They're nervous as hell.
Well, they there to get famous. What the hell
and then you start making out with a bunch of people, half of which you're not even that attracted to, but you don't want to be the guy.
So y'all actually do hang
kissing.
out or whatever.
Yeah, there's kissing. There's
I'm just saying hang out. Just I don't even want to.
But like it was a crazy experience, but the execution of actually playing that role is emotionally and physically like. very hard. Like I did special forces. I finished the course, and that was its own rewarding experience, physically demanding and things like that. But like, you know, for example, special forces has had 2 seasons. All right, for the reality TV stars. 3 people passed the course the second season, and 2 people passed the course the first season. So that's 5 total. 3 people are from the Bachelor franchise.
Oh.
And I think part of the reason why is like the psychological like warfare that is required to like get through the Bachelor, just like the mental hurdles, and you're just really gut checking yourself emotionally, and people are there to kind of poke holes in you and things like that. It'll toughen you up emotionally for sure.
So when you had the baby, you were I guess you ran into Walker Bueller at the
yeah, we were in the same
ward?
same elevator, and like
okay.
we were in the same elevator. I'm like, oh, this guy looks familiar, and he was kind of looking at me like he kind of recognized me, and he messaged me on Instagram and was like, "Were you in the elevator?" And I was like, "Yeah," and then I immediately recognized him, and we've sent a few messages back and forth. He's had an incredible year. I mean, World Series
absolutely.
hero. So yeah, that was pretty cool. But we were in the same hospital when our daughters were born.
Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of a little bit of baseball, the biggest news in sports for it is 15 years, $765 million for Juan Soto. How do you guys feel about that?
It's a lot of money. I'm how old is he now?
26.
Yeah, he's like my
What's
age,
scary about how old I'll be when that
26,
contract's
yeah.
over?
Yeah, he's 26 years old, 765,
41.
51 million a year. It can get up to about 800
It's
million.
the largest deal in professional
That's
sports
crazy.
history.
Yeah, and he can. But the crazy thing about it is
All guaranteed.
everybody's talking about the 765. The 765 is not. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the 250 something that I think it's 255 that he'll make in 5 years. Then he can opt out
Before the opt out. Yeah.
before the opt out. So if he does and stays on track in doing some of the same things that he's been able to do thus far, when he
Could be
gets to
even
that
bigger.
5th year, he could just slice that thing and then go
Yeah.
get another, get $1 billion basically.
It's crazy. It's crazy the money that's thrown around in baseball compared to like how successful the NFL is and the money that's not guaranteed.
Well,
to
it's
its
the
players.
game though. You got 162 games versus 17 games.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different.
Yeah.
I mean, and they don't want to extend you out in football the way that or even in basketball anymore like they used to do, where they would give out these 10-year basketball contracts. They don't do that anymore. So essentially, you get a 5-year deal, and that's what it is. Where in baseball, and a lot of people don't really understand, there's only a handful of guys that are getting 10 and 15-year deals.
Sure.
There's only a hand. It's not like the guy who's at the third base batting 265, is getting $175 million over 3 years. It doesn't work like that.
What do you think of him? He went to the Mets for not much more money than the Yankees offered him. What do you think that's about?
I know the Dodgers offered him $600 million.
Okay. But I feel like what did the Yankees offer him? I feel like it wasn't that much
The
less.
Yankees were off by about $165 million.
That's
but the years were different. It was a 10-year
okay.
600 versus a 15-year 765.
Okay. I read somewhere it wasn't much difference, and Yankee fans felt a bit.
No, it was the years.
Okay.
A little bit more money, plus the way that they supposedly treated his family as the Yankees. They didn't want to give him a box.
Oh.
The Yankees didn't want to give up a box. The Mets said, sure, you can have every box in the stadium. Just come with us.
He wanted the respect.
Yeah, and the owner, Cohen, has fuck you money. And not that the Steinbrenners and the Yankees don't have fuck you money, but his fuck you money, I think, is a little different, where he doesn't care.
So the Yankees offered 16 years, $760 million.
Oh, so it went up to 16 years, 760.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I mean, if you wanted to be
so one more year, but less money. Okay, it's still not as good of a deal.
Could have been a Yankee.
Yeah,
but I think you're more about the box.
I think it had a lot to do with
yeah.
that too. It was like, oh, okay, you're gonna treat me like this, no problem, and that's fine.
Do you think the
Whatever.
Mets will ever win with that kind of contract?
Well, they got Lindor.
Pete.
What'd you say, Keyshawn?
Alonso, right?
They got Alonso, Lindor. I think Verlander's there with them still.
Is he?
Right? Is it Verlander that's still there?
That's right. He's been bouncing.
No, who the
around.
hell's the pitcher? They got a pitcher, whatever. I can't think of who it is.
I think, but you're right. I think they got rid of their top end starters, and it's their starting lineup that's really been.
You might be talking about DeGrom, right? But
Is that what I'm talking about? DeGrom.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about,
DeGrom.
DeGrom.
Texas, though, right? He went to he's at Texas.
Yeah, but he's
Yeah.
gone now.
Yeah.
So when you think about it, I don't know. I mean, they were in it last year or
They
this
beat
year,
my
better
Brewers.
yet,
Yeah.
but it didn't quite work out. We took
Yeah.
care of the big brother, not the little brother.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm a Dodger, so that's what it born and raised.
Well, congratulations.
I don't know anything other than go Big Blue Wrecking Crew.
The Dodgers needed to win this one because their last World Series was like during the shortened season. It just didn't feel
Okay,
quite.
and if the Milwaukee
Mouse,
Brewers
huh?
would have won,
I would take
and
it.
if the Milwaukee Brewers would have won, nobody would be saying anything. And if the Yankees would have won, nobody
Listen,
would have said anything.
I'm not trying to take anything from you, but I'm just saying, as a Dodgers fan, doesn't this feel
No.
a little
Same.
No? Feels the same?
Same. Only thing was we got to have a parade and we beat the fucking Yankees.
All right.
Other than that, same.
Okay.
Ring is a ring is a ring.
Fair enough.
I love when people start saying, well, it was during the pandemic and it doesn't really.
It's just a weird. It's just like
it's during the pandemic because you don't have one.
Listen, you won by the rules, but the rules were just different for the only season.
So Tom
ever.
Brady should feel the same way, huh? Well, his is a little different because Tom won 6. That's what people would say. Because they have these arguments against the Lakers and the Dodgers. But the moment you bring up the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I'm not trying to take anything away from
No,
it.
you are.
It must,
You're trying to do it
must-
slickly.
It's
You're
like
trying to do it-
1.5 championships.
Yeah, you're doing it real slick. Yeah,
One
Tom
and a
Brady,
half, so you got
nobody
a little at the
says
end.
nobody says anything about Tom Brady and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Nobody. The first thing they all say is he got 7.
But yeah, because you could argue that his Buccaneers championship was even more impressive than all the rest. 'Cause
Nobody
he
was
did it
in
by
the
himself.
stands.
No,
They
but
had fake people
I
in
don't
the
care
first
about,
10
I don't care about the
rows.
fans. I'm just talking about the shortened season and
It's the
the entirely
same
different playoff,
thing.
the entire different playoff structure. I was like,
Oh,
what am I
God.
watching?
Y'all, you guys.
Listen, congratulations, you won a World Series. Listen, I'm just a jaded Brewers fan.
I know.
Yeah.
Robert Yount's not coming through the building anytime soon. Robert Yount, and then y'all screwed it up when y'all got rid of CeCe Sabathia, so that was a problem.
That was a special year. That was a
Yeah,
special
but
year.
y'all screwed it up.
We couldn't afford them.
Oh,
You
you
know?
can afford what you want to afford when you want to afford it.
I don't know. Every time we sign a big name, we come to regret it. We can't afford to make mistakes like the Dodgers.
This episode of All Facts No Breaks is presented by Color Guard. As my listeners may know, a few of my family and close friends have undergone battles with various forms of cancer, so increasing awareness around the importance of cancer screenings is very personal to me. And on that note, today I want to tell you about the Color Guard test, which is a great use at-home option to screen for colon cancer. The Color Guard test is one-of-a-kind way to feel more in control of your colon cancer screenings through a prescription-based test with none of the prep that's required in a colonoscopy. It is the only FDA-approved non-invasive screening test that looks for both altered DNA and blood in your stool. What I want my listeners to know is that colon cancer screenings are crucial for early detection because many patients with early-stage colon cancers have no symptoms at all and are diagnosed through a preventative screenings. And for my listeners in their late 40s who think this doesn't apply to them, guess what? The American Cancer Society recommends that if you are at average risk, you begin screening for colon cancers at age 45. We're not talking 50 or 55 here, people. When it comes to staying on top of your health, the time is now. Plus, the Cologuard test doesn't just offer convenience and ease of use, it's also affordable. Most insured patients pay $0 with zero downtime, no special preparation, and use at-home screening tests that deliver right to your door. It's delivered right to your door. There's no reason that we should let our health take a back seat. What are we waiting for? So if you're 45 or older and at average risk, ask your healthcare provider about screening for colon cancer with the Cologuard test. You can also request a Cologuard prescription through a telehealth provider today at Cologuard.com/podcast. The Cologuard test is intended to screen adults 45 and older at average risk for colorectal cancer. Do not use Cologuard test if you have had an anomalous, have inflammatory bowel disease, and certain hereditary syndromes, or a person or family history of colorectal cancer. The Cologuard test is not a replacement for colonoscopy in high-risk patients. Cologuard test performance in adults ages 45 to 49 is estimated based on a large clinical study of patients 50 and older. false positives and false negatives can occur. Color Guard is available by prescription only. So long before you were this Bachelor, you were a Green Bay Packer fan.
Oh yeah, since
Go Pack, go.
Pack go. Third grade. Don Mikowski, 1989. The line of scrimmage play against the Bears. That was like the moment I became
Don the Magic Man.
Yeah, a Packer fan.
So now, what do you feel about the season so far?
I feel good, man. Like I think I was listening to Colin, and he said last week that he thought the Packers were the best team that can't win a Super Bowl, and I get what he was trying to say.
Best team that can't win a Super Bowl this year?
Yeah, that's what general. This year. He was saying that, that well, I agree with you. He was saying that, like, the Packers are like the Lions last year. He referred to them as one of the youngest teams in the league. I think people forget that they're literally the youngest team in the league. And they were the youngest team before they traded Preston Smith to the Steelers. And so now you have literally the youngest team in the league, but yet I think they're a lot more battle tested than younger teams out there. They went in their playoff run last year. Like basically after week 15, they were basically as playoff mode. It was winner go home.
They're 2 games behind Detroit.
Yeah, but like to even make the playoffs last year, they had to win out. I don't know how many games. So they had kind of that playoff mindset. Then they went in and beat Cowboys in Dallas. They had a good, they played tough against the Niners. I think a lot of the younger players.
They should have won that Niner game. They just made some mistakes.
Yeah, they definitely did. But you can blame that on the youth. And I think, listen, if they don't win youth this year, I think youth might play a big role.
I don't think it'll be the youth. I don't think it'll be it at all. It's just that they're 2 games behind and they're going to have to go on the road.
Yeah, they did that in 2010. So,
that was a long time.
Sure. Well, listen, I think a lot of wildcard teams are making the Super Bowl, and the Packers, shoot. Yeah, they like you said, they should have beat the Niners last year. And then the teams
trying to think.
Had they beat the Niners, they would have played Detroit. They had smoked Detroit last Thanksgiving, so that who knows? And they had smoked Kansas City. Those were two of the best teams of the league. They didn't just win.
They beat Kansas City. They didn't smoke them.
Fair enough, but they were winning. They were winning from beginning to end. They were winning from beginning to end in that game for a young team.
Right.
They acted like they belong. And
they did.
And I think right now, if you ask most Packer fans right now, they've lost to some good teams. They've lost to the right teams, but the games that they lost, as a Packer fan, not to make excuses.
I like where they're at. I don't like the fact that look, here's what they should be hoping for. They should be hoping that Buffalo can come into Detroit this week and beat them.
Why?
Because they can probably climb back up there. Because Minnesota's there too.
Nah, they got Minnesota. Detroit. Unfortunately, as far as tiebreaker goes, Packers only 4 losses are NFC games in division. Yeah. So they lose out all the tiebreakers. Yeah, if they beat Detroit, they had a chance, I think, to maybe steal the division. But I think the odds were still.
But they are they're the one team out of all the teams in the NFC. Well, Philly could do it too. But out of all the teams in the NFC that I feel, because they play at Lambeau and they're outdoors, they have something we call portable. They're able to travel in the places that they would be traveling to. If you think about it, outside of their own place is Philadelphia. Everywhere else is in dome.
Yeah, so nothing's gonna.
So it's like they could go on the road and win, because if you think about it, if let's say they have to play at Tampa Bay or at Atlanta, great weather dome. Let's say that they got to go to Seattle. It's a little rainy, whatever, but it's Seattle. Yeah. If they got to go to the Rams, it's in a dome. If they go to Arizona, it's in a dome. Now I don't think those teams are finished. I think Seattle's going to win it with a 2-game lead. Or
there's a good chance they have to go back to Seattle. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's fine. They go back to Seattle, but it's outdoors.
Yeah.
So all of that plays into their favor. I actually think that they still could have a chance of getting to New Orleans. I don't know that it'll happen because I like the Lions. I like Philly more, but you just never know.
Yeah, I mean, granted it was week 1, and week 1's always kind of like hard to trust. But if you ask a Packer fan, there's a lot of things that the Packers did to beat themselves. The Lions game, there were some missed opportunities there for sure. And listen, I think it's a young team that's ascending. They keep getting better and better, and we'll see if they can keep, reducing their mistakes and playing more cohesively and getting some of this younger talent they rely on to step up. I mean, they could be a very dangerous team like last year in the playoffs. And Jordan's getting better and better. And again, they're literally the youngest team in the league, not just like one of the youngest teams.
I think they went back to him too early. They should probably just let Malik play 1 or 2 more games.
They were definitely you could tell he was hurt for sure. Yeah. But he
Let
seems
him
healthy
play
now.
1 or 2 more. He probably could have won those games that he did wind up losing.
Yeah, maybe. What like they lost the Minnesota game. Well, Minnesota and Detroit, they both lost while he was
That's what I'm saying.
hurt. Maybe
He was hurt. You let Malik play, maybe that, turns into 3 and 4 instead of 2.
Maybe we'll never know.
We'll never know.
We'll never know. But I'm excited about this season. I think. I want to ask you a question. I think. New defensive quarter. They have a new defensive quarter this year. The defense has been playing better. There's a lot of things to like. Even just
I didn't dislike Joe Barry.
As a Packer fan, I did. And more importantly, like I think as a Packer fan, it was just like I think it's the eye test for fans like me. You probably understand the game better than I do, but like Joe Barry's is like bend don't break. It's just it's nauseating. And like you would rather just like have a team just like go big, score touchdown and go back than this like death by 1,000 cuts. And that's how it felt as a Packer fan. And I think we have a more aggressive defense. It's just I think less frustrating to watch. My question to you is, what's been kind of surprising for fans is like you talked to a lot of defensive players, the pass rushers, the defensive line. They all talk with great enthusiasm about this new system and the attack. But across the board, their pass rushers are well underperforming last year. And I'm just like transitionally for a player, like I think a lot of Packer fans are hoping that these players, as they get more accustomed to this system, will start to step up and pass rush like maybe they did last year. Is that a good assumption? Can we hope for that? Or after week 11, they are who they are?
It depends on the matchup that you get. What the tackles, what the guards, what those guys look like up front on the offensive side of the ball.
But just like across the board, all their play, you look at their pressures.
Clark isn't going to get sacks. That's not his job.
Sure, but he's getting less pressures than last year. Rashawn Gary, like across their board.
Gary is the guy that should be getting the pressure, right? But when a guy like Kenny Clark is eating up 2,
sure,
somebody else should be free. Rashawn Gary, on the other hand, just hasn't taken the next step since coming out of Michigan. He hasn't, you would think by now he'd be a double-digit sack guy every single year. Yeah, but that just hasn't been the case.
But he's almost in this.
And that's why that's why you try to create pressure from other positions, whether it's blitzing guys off the edge, whether it's up the middle, whatever it is. That's how you try to apply the pressure because you can't get it from your front 4.
But if they can't get it from their front 4, that will be their demise. I don't think they've got some injuries in the secondary. I think we were hoping with Rashawn Gary and some of these younger players that, flashed last season. I think we all hope for some kind of development and progress, but they've all taken a step back. And the hope has been, hey, they have to get accustomed to the system. But if they can't apply pressure with 4,
you're going to get, like when you start looking at it, what quarterbacks collapse under pressure when you play against them, right? You say, well, if you saw in the playoffs the Minnesota Vikings, you're going to have to get pressure on Sam Darnold because if you let him with those 2 guys at the receivers sit back there and pat the baby to sleep, you're going to fucking lose.
Yeah.
Matthew Stafford, same thing. You're going to lose. It just depends on what the matchup is. It depends on the matchup, on what type of pressure you got to apply to that particular quarterback. Otherwise, you might be sitting pretty. You don't have to apply the pressure to Jalen Hurts, right? You can play zone and look and see where Hurts is going with the football because if you
don't want him to run.
You do not want him to run because if you apply pressure, you miss. Yeah. He's gonna pull the ball down, and it's gonna be a house call. So it just depends on who you're playing.
Okay. Well, I think they're gonna have to beat Philly and Detroit if they want to get to the Super Bowl. So between the Vikings, Philly, and Detroit, they'll have to beat 2.
Go Pack, go.
Well, speaking of quarterbacks, what do you guys think of Jordan Love's second season? He has 11 interceptions despite missing 2 games. How do you guys feel?
Well, go ahead.
I mean, listen, you coming off of watching Aaron Rodgers play for as long as he did, I think as Packer fans, you're just like, oh, spoiled. He throws a bad pass, and you're like, WTF. Like, he was very accurate, so we got spoiled. I think Jordan Love, I think people forget just how limited experience he has under center, whether it's from college to the pros. You want him to test his limits. I think he's, again, in his second year. He's had some bad, I think, interceptions. He's had some tip passes. There's some bad luck. He's avoiding sacks. I love that. He's throwing less interceptions. His completion rate's going up. I think, again, he has an incredibly young offense. I think everything's pointing up, and I think I like the direction he is going. So I don't really care about the interceptions he has thrown in the past, but I like that there's some improvement. And like last year, this offense is really starting to click. It's starting to get dangerous. They're making less and less mistakes, and I like where it's going.
As long as he does it, the interception doesn't cost the game. I don't care. Yeah. I discount interceptions anyway. Like you said, tip balls, whatever. So if he has 11, I'll give him 6. He has 6 interceptions. Yeah. Yay! I mean, how many of those 6 interceptions have cost them the game? When did they occur? Are they Hail Marys? Are they in the 2-minute drill before the half or at the end of the game when they're losing and they're just trying to spit the ball all over the lot? All interceptions are not equal.
Yeah.
And people don't look at it that way. The first thing they do is they get the box score. They look, oh, my God, he had an interception. How? Yeah. Did it hit the guy's helmet? Like, what happened there?
And you must know, did the receiver go left when he should have gone right?
All of those
all
things.
Stuff.
All of those things.
Do you? I'm biased. I love my Packers. I love my team. As someone who went through the transition from Favre to Rodgers, I'm definitely like trust the GM, trust the process. So when they drafted Jordan, at the time I was like, we need some help for Rodgers, but it worked for us last time. It worked for this time. But I am biased. I've been kind of rooting hard for Love for a long time, and he's been good. But what do you think Love's ceiling is? Because I think it's MVP.
I don't necessarily know if it's MVP.
Okay.
I think he can win a Super Bowl with the right pieces around him.
Sure. But I think he can carry a team.
MVP is historical numbers and teams kicking down a door close to, or at least looking like they're going to win a Super Bowl. You understand what I'm saying?
Sure.
So is he a 14-3 quarterback with 5,500 yards passing and 46 touchdowns? I don't know if he's that because of the system.
Let me put it this way. Is he a make up for people's mistakes quarterback like a Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, some of these? Does he have the potential to make up for some of the other warts and flaws that, like?
No, I don't think he's there yet.
Does he have the ability to be there?
It's too early to tell.
Okay. All right.
It hasn't jumped off the scale yet.
Okay.
So it's hard to tell whether or not he can make up.
How do you judge a quarterback ceiling?
How can I tell you if he's good?
Yeah, like how do you just his ceiling? Like if before a player hits their ceiling, have you ever been like, you've been,
I can tell
say like
you,
that guy's got it. He's gonna.
Yeah, you can look at a guy. You can look at a guy and tell whether or not he has it.
Yeah.
He has it, but is he MVP? Has it? Josh Allen's MVP have it. Lamar Jackson, obviously. Patrick Mahomes, clearly. You look at certain guys and some of the things that they do, throwing guys open, dominating in all phases of the quarterback game from shoulders up. I mean, with his brain, when he walks up to the line of scrimmage, pre-snap read, post-snap read, all of those sort of things, it's hard to tell with Jordan because he's played 20, what does he play now? 27 games, something like that? 28 games?
Something.
It's not much.
Maybe 30. I don't know.
Maybe 30. Yeah. It's not much.
Yeah.
So we still need to see a little bit more of him, but he's certainly heading in the right direction.
Okay.
They had to pay him. There was no other option.
Sure, yeah. I mean, that's just,
you had to pay
that's
him.
the way the league's gone.
Nick, is there a play that stands out to you for Jordan Love where you realized he's that guy or he's your quarterback?
I'll tell you what, this past game against Detroit, that touchdown pass to Tucker Kraft was pretty special. That pass at the end of the game where he kind of jumped through to he avoided the blitz. I think Campbell came down the middle, got out of the way, and threw this absolute seed to Christian Watson. I think that's the thing for me.
I'm not in love with Christian Watson either, though.
We got it right here.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, right. That one. That's special right there.
Yeah.
Christian Watson, he's one of the, it's like, I don't think he's going to get Matt LaFleur. He's one of those guys big hopes, aspiration. You see the athleticism. he's had flashes, but yeah, you can't count on him to. He's not the guy, you know. And I do like the wide receiver room as a whole, but I don't know, Christian. I will say towards the end, he's been popping lately. He's been showing up, so we'll see.
He's a vertical threat guy to me. He needs to do more smaller stuff.
I'd like to see them stretch the field horizontally a little bit more with
do
his
some
speed.
more stuff with him because everything is vertical. I'm like, okay, well, I've seen that. Let me see him, you know, 3rd and 6. Let me put him over there at the X by himself and let me bang a slant on him.
Yeah, but
you know?
they're deep. I mean, their offense was not why they lost against the Lions, and Jaden Reed had no.
So at least
he got shut out, and he's an incredible talent. So they're deep. Do they have the number one that everyone likes to make a big deal about? I don't know, but I don't know. I think they have enough of talent across the board to move the ball, and it seems like a lot of this season, because they didn't come in with the season with the established premier number one and defined role players, you still have a young team kind of figuring out who does what, like who's playing what role. And I think you're seeing an offense that's starting to figure out each person's role, how they fit into this offense.
Maybe they'll go out and get Devontae Adams back.
You know, I think 2 years ago I would have loved that, but I've moved on. You know, I think he's moved on. Appreciate what he's done as a Packer receiver, but I think he's done a good job of looking forward. But man, that wasn't the best business decision on his part. It didn't seem like.
So back to couples and stuff like that. Who do you think would make the best Bachelor in the NFL?
Well, before he got hitched to Taylor Swift, I probably would have said Jason Kelce. Okay, who's single? Who likes?
I don't know. Maybe like
guy.
OBJ or something. Jimmy G's up there.
OBJ, I mean, his brother, kind of now a reality TV legend on Love Island.
You said Jimmy G.
Garoppolo?
Jimmy G. Well, Jimmy G maybe before is Jimmy G still in the league?
Yeah, he is. He's backing up
the Raiders.
He's backing up somewhere.
He had like dating rumors with some people. So
dating rumors. He was dating a porn star allegedly.
If you're going by looks and appeal to ladies, I'd go Jimmy G.
Whatever. If he was dating a porn star and that's what he was doing, he's grown. He can do whatever the hell he wants to do. Yeah. I'm not in that man's personal space, and I don't care.
I mean,
here you go.
I didn't say.
Well,
that.
you said dating. You said dating rumors. The only dating rumor was out about him was that he was dating a porn star.
Listen, he is a well sought after man, and who is he to judge?
He's a nice looking. Yeah. He's a nice looking dude. I'm not afraid to say that.
He's very pretty.
He's got the whole scruffy beard look, the whole Hollywood deal.
Yeah, he's hot.
That look. So
what are you gonna do?
I don't know who would be a.
I'm trying. Yeah, I don't know a lot of these guys' dating lives.
Me neither.
But,
I don't know. I have no idea.
Who would be fun to watch? I mean, that's the thing. Jason Kelce, you already know he's a bit of an entertainer. Who's got some flair? You know what?
You said Jason? You mean Travis Kelce?
Micah Parsons.
Okay.
That could be interesting.
Yeah.
He's not afraid to speak up.
Just assume he's single. Maybe.
Yeah,
Michael
I mean,
Parsons.
if he's not single, I apologize to his lady. No disrespect.
Michael Parsons.
I'm just trying to think of people who would be fun. It would be entertaining to watch them interact with dates. So maybe him.
Okay. All right, Nick, who's your favorite NFL celebrity couple?
Favorite NFL
celebrity couple?
So you got
like Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift.
I'm gonna go
Kelsey,
Haley and Josh Allen.
Who?
Simone Biles and Jonathan Owens.
Yeah.
Are we our favorite celebrity football couple?
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. Let's take out Jason and Taylor. I feel like that's
Sierra and Russell Wilson.
No.
So y'all, I don't know. You know me, Keyshawn.
I'm asking Nick. I don't know.
Yeah, don't even ask me because you already know I'll be like, man, please.
My favorite? I don't know. Let's go with
I don't even know. I'm reading my notes. Like, who's Haley? Who's
Haley Steinfeld?
Yeah, who is that?
Oh, she is a very talented actor and performing artist. Yeah, she's quite the talent. Yeah. I mean,
Actress on what though?
Not your demo, man.
No,
She was,
it's not. It's
not
not.
your
It's
demo.
not.
and a
It's
lot
not
of stuff.
that it's
She
not
was,
my demo.
She's
I just
she's
don't
got some
know who
range.
she is.
She's got some range. She was a star in the Bumblebee movies. So it's, she led a Transformer movie.
Like,
Then
London would know who that is for sure.
She's in one of her
would.
first movies a long time ago.
You said London would know?
Yeah.
She was in a cowboy movie with Matt Damon and the guy
But
who
see,
plays
I know
Thor.
Olivia Copa. I know her.
Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, I know her. I know the Sports
go.
Illustrated swimsuit, Victoria's Secret. I know that,
There you go.
but I don't know the other one.
Yeah, she's
Why are y'all
very,
laughing?
very.
Because I do. I actually know who that is. And that's
Well,
not
yeah.
my demo.
But now we know what's in your library. Like
No, I know Taylor Swift, obviously.
Taylor Swift.
And Simone Biles and Sierra. I
Simone.
know them.
Yeah.
Is that all that's in the NFL? That's celebrity couples, Keyshawn?
Off the top, yeah, that I know. But here, I'll ask you a question that
I'm
both
sure
you guys,
some sneaky dudes running around doing something.
Yeah. I'll ask you a question that both of you guys can answer. So you give relationship advice on your podcast. What relationship advice would you give to someone dating an NFL player? Both of you
Oh,
guys can answer
God.
that. Yeah.
Well, you would know more than me.
Well, you
but-
give the advice.
You give
I
the
don't-
advice, you're the NFL player.
Because if
so-
I gave the advice, yeah, it wouldn't be good advice.
Give me the situation. Give me the situation.
So now you need a situation. She's
Well, like,
meeting
for
an
example,
NFL
like
player. She
Oli-
knows he plays professional
I mean,
sports.
listen, if you're Olivia Coppola,
Yeah.
I hope I'm saying her name right. She is in her own right. She knows what it's like to be famous, be a public figure. She knows what it's, that matters in public relationships and professional relationships. So my advice to Olivia might be different than someone who went to the bar, met an,
Yeah,
an
let's say,
NFL
like-
quarterback, superstar, and she's like, hey, how do I hang out with this fucking guy? But I guess in general, my advice would be to in any relationship, you got to be their equal. So make sure no matter what your situation is, if you're your girlfriend, you're their equal, and you should act as if.
Okay.
Keyshawn?
So have you guys seen the clips of Timothée Chalamet on College Game Day?
I have, yes.
Okay, we have it. We're going to show it real quick.
Listen, these teams are 2-2 in the last 4 matchups. The Redhawks defense looks good, but I'm looking at 4th-year Bobcats quarterback Parker Navarro. Yeah. 65% completion rate. If he can get going, he'll tilt this in favor of the Bobcats. I'm going underdog Bobcats here.
Yes.
Underdog Bobcats. Totally agree. Scatterboo, little 3 to 5 yard runs. Needs to be efficient, set that offense going. I don't think they've won a conference championship outright ever. I'm pulling for Arizona State today.
Timmy.
He said
How many
That's
Arizona States we got?
unbelievable. Kevin Jennings, legit Heisman contender next year, my humble opinion. I'm pulling for SMU. It smells like the 1980s, folks.
I love it. You weren't around in the 80s, but that's great research.
He went
Dad,
to
do
like
you
a
even know who this
predominantly.
is? Or
Yes, it's the
It might not be your
damn
demographic. I don't-
Jennifer, Kylie Jenner's boyfriend or some mess like that.
Yeah.
I know who he is.
Nice.
But it's not appointment watching for me. I know he's probably a great actor or whatever. I wonder, did he go to one of those? Where was this College Game Day at? Because usually they take
Texas,
Sure.
Georgia, I think.
I don't think.
So is he from Atlanta or Texas or something?
I would have to.
I think he was willing to show up, and I think.
Oh, he just was willing to show
I
up.
think he's
Because usually
Browning his demo. Like me, I'm my audience is entirely women, and I again love to talk about what we talk about, but it's fun to be with you and talk about my other
Yeah, he went to
passions like
Columbia.
sports. And
he went to Columbia.
it turns out he also enjoys talking some ball.
Yeah, I
too,
just
so.
thought usually they usually take College Game Day will take somebody from that city,
Yeah.
and bring them in or whatever. But yes, I know who he is, Keyshawn.
We're trying
I'm
to
not
pull in
a
the
fucking
ladies.
Tool.
Game Day is trying to pull in the ladies. The Kylie audience.
Is that what they try to do?
I mean, it worked for the NFL.
Right.
I mean, women audience up in the NFL, up big time for
Yeah,
the NFL.
Kylie, that's Kylie's friend, or boyfriend, or whatever it is. I don't
Romantic
dive.
partner.
You know me, I don't dive deep into that sort of world, even though I'm around it 24 hours, 7 days a week. I live around it. Trust me. I try to avoid it as much as possible because I do my job,
Stay in your lane.
stay in my lane,
Yeah.
not interested in going to hang out at a restaurant because paparazzi's outside. Not my deal. It's just not my deal.
Yeah,
Nothing
that
wrong
makes
with it. My son, they all poke fun at me because they think I'm slow and I don't know what's going on in the world. I'm like, dude, I know. I just choose not to talk about it.
Yeah.
All right,
So-
well, Nick, we got your power rankings. Let's take a look for the NFL.
I want to know. I did this in my car on a call with
So number 10, we got the Chargers.
Forgot
Number
about that.
9, we got the Seahawks. Number
4-game
8,
winning streak.
we got the Vikings. Number 7, Steelers. Number 6, Packers. Number 5, Ravens. Number 4, Bills.
Well, actually, I got 5 Packers, 6 Ravens, but
Number 3, Chiefs. Number 2, Eagles. And for number 1 spot, we got the Lions. So how do you feel about that?
yeah. What do you think, Keyshawn?
Yeah, I would.
We got
switch.
yours too, but
Yeah, 1 and 2 got to get switched for me. I like Philly over Detroit, even though I could keep it 1 and 2. I would put Pittsburgh at the 3 spot. Buffalo drops down for me. Green Bay's completely out of it. Well, no, I mean, he got 10 slots, so Green Bay would be 8 for me. Minnesota would be up probably in the 5 spot. Seattle would be in the 7th spot. The Chargers probably would sit at 10.
here, we'll show yours. We'll show
Yeah.
yours, Dad.
I mean, that's just, yeah,
The
that's
7
kind of
for you. You got the Seahawks. The 6, Bills. 5, you got the Vikings. Number 4, you got the Chiefs. Number 3, you have the Steelers. Number 2,
You got
have
the Seahawks
Lions.
over the Packers?
And the 1, Eagles.
Yeah, the Seahawks have won. Oh God, I don't
4 in
remember.
a
They
row.
got like they've gotten like 5 in a row or something
4.
like that. The defense has been playing out of its mind since they made the trades that they made at the linebacker position. And when you're going to win your division, that says a lot. Regardless if that
division's
division is
crap.
tough,
Yeah.
even though your division is tough with the 3 teams outside of Chicago. The fact that you can win your division in a division that was supposed to be pretty good. And the Rams are tough out. Now the Rams, if they get in, I would be scared to death of the Rams.
I would agree. Yeah. Yeah. I had them at 10 before I forgot about Pittsburgh. But when I make my rankings, I'm thinking
when I look at Pittsburgh can beat those 2 teams at the top
You have
because of the
3
quarterback.
teams
well,
over
so can the
Chiefs.
Packers. I mean, I understand they didn't.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, listen, maybe I'm biased, but like, if you can't watch that Detroit game, Packer game, and not say that the Packers,
It's a division foe.
so what?
No, it means a lot. That means a lot because you may not see your division team, your opponent, come playoff time. That means a lot.
I understand, but listen, I'm biased. I'm a Packer fan, but I would, the way I look at it in terms of like, I don't think Pittsburgh can win the Super Bowl.
I think Pittsburgh definitely can win the Super Bowl.
No, I don't.
1,000%.
I don't think Russell's got it.
Dude
He's
just
got
threw
it
for
before.
400 yards last week.
I hear you.
When barely
I think
400
he's
yards, 400 yards, I believe, without George Pickens.
Yeah, I hear you.
So
I definitely could be wrong.
different player. If we were voting on the MVP over the last 6 weeks of the season, Russell Wilson, Jared Goff, and Josh Allen would be at the top.
Do you think
along with-
Seattle can win the Super Bowl?
I don't think Seattle could
Do
win
you think
the
the
Super
Packers
Bowl.
can win the Super Bowl?
I need to see him finish.
Sure.
I need
But
to see him
as of
finish.
today, do you
No.
think?
No,
Okay.
I
Nick,
don't.
do you think the Packers can win the Super Bowl?
Of course he think
Of
they
course.
can.
Well, I mean,
he think
like,
they can win a
I
Super
don't think
Bowl.
Wait, hold on.
the
There's-
Panthers can.
You don't think?
If the late Forrest Gregg was playing quarterback, he'd say they could win the Super
No,
Bowl.
that's not true. I mean, but like again, like the Packers, look at how they finished last season. They were definitely one of the best teams in the league. I understand it's a new season. They have their nucleus back.
I like
again,
Green Bay. I just don't think they can win the Super Bowl.
No, okay, but I do, and like the only teams they've lost to, and yet like, you could argue they haven't beat the best teams. That's a fair argument, but the top teams, all these other teams, Philly, Detroit, all these teams, everyone's just like we're going to be one of them win the Super Bowl. The Packers have played all these teams tough. They clearly belong playing against these teams. So to say that they can't win a Super Bowl when all these other teams who you say can win a Super Bowl, they're clearly in their league. And you consider the fact that they have the youngest team in the league. All these teams, all these players are ascending, and they're as competitive as they are now. Imagine how good they can be come playoff time.
The problem with winning the Super Bowl is not a bowl of M&Ms. You as a fan think that, oh, it's a bowl of M&Ms. Let me just grab them. It doesn't work like that. You got to go on the road.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard as hell, even though I think they're portable.
They did that. I mean, again, they got experience last
It's like
season.
1,000 years ago when they won a Super Bowl going on the road.
No,
with Aaron
last year
Rodgers.
they went to Dallas. They went to San Francisco.
They beat a Dallas team that sucked.
And then they played competitively against the team that went to the
Should've
Super
won.
Bowl.
They played competitive against a team that won a Super Bowl. They didn't win, though.
Yeah.
They didn't win. I understand your bias.
But to say
But
that,
to
say
go
that they
on the
couldn't go,
road-
to say they can't win the Super Bowl,
But
to say they don't have the talent
if
to
you
win the Super
told
Bowl.
me that they were
they have
going to
the
win the
talent?
division, if you said they're going to win the division,
Sure.
and then I would say, yeah, they could win the Super Bowl. You know how hard it is to go on the road and win. Not 3 games, 4 games on the road.
How many in the past since 2010? How many wild card teams have made the Super Bowl? Quite a bit.
No, you cannot go on the road and win the Super Bowl 4 games.
How many teams?
You
have done
got
it?
the last team to do it was
The
the
Bengals.
2020. The last team to do it was the 2010 Green Bay Packers. If my math is correct,
No,
that was the last team to do it.
No.
The Giants, right?
the Giants.
No.
The
No.
Giants did it in 2014.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm sorry. The Giants were the last team.
Yeah.
Before that,
Yeah.
it was the Green Bay Packers.
Uh-huh.
The Giants were the last team to
Are
do
you
it.
sure they were the last ones?
I am 100% sure. I bet my right hand on it. It's hard because you got to win 4, not
I don't think
3.
it's likely. I don't
4.
think I'm not expecting them to, but I absolutely think they have the talent. I think
You
they
got to go through a gauntlet,
Yeah,
starting with Detroit's and Philadelphia's, Minnesota's,
we've played both those teams. We competed
and you
well
may have
against
to
those
go.
teams.
Let's say you have to go on the road to a Seattle. What? It's just hard as hell to do.
They could absolutely get knocked out the first round, but
Definitely super fan. Definitely Green Bay super fan.
Superfan is acting like
That's
know.
what you're
Like wearing the
doing.
Chiefs
Are you
hat
telling me
too.
they don't have the talent to win?
They don't have the talent to win the Super Bowl right now. No, if they had the home
but
field,
Detroit
yes,
and Philly does.
absolutely,
Detroit does, I think. But
absolutely. Okay,
Does Minnesota?
I'll just name 2
I
players.
just like
I named 2 players Detroit have at the receiver position: Jameson Williams and Amon-Ra St. Brown.
okay. All of Packers receivers are at that level.
oh,
Jameson Williams just finally got good.
I am going
literally
to.
finally got good.
I'm going
He
to.
literally
I'm going to pour
showed up.
gasoline on my hair and burn
Jaden
it.
Reed, Romeo Doubs, Tucker Kraft is
Romeo
turning
Doubs
into a
is really good. Really good.
yeah. But the
He's
collective,
learning how to play.
all Detroit has is Amon-Ra St. Brown and what's his
Jameson Williams.
Jameson,
yeah.
Jameson
Williams,
Williams.
And who literally just showed up. Who like next week
Oh,
could
you
have
don't
an
like
injury.
Laporta?
What? No, he's
They
really
got
good.
Jahmyr Gibbs.
You don't like Gibbs?
Listen,
they
You don't
got
like
listen,
Jahmyr Gibbs? You don't
They
like
got-
Laporta?
Listen, you're just shitting
You
on
don't
my
like
Packers.
Montgomery?
They have a good team.
Penei Sewell, you don't like that? Even Penei
he
Sewell
be
catches
running.
passes and
Well,
running the
listen, if we
football.
want to start naming players
Oh
on a
my
roster,
God.
I can name Packer players who are very
nobody's
good.
naming the roster.
Jaden Reed, Tucker Kraft,
God.
Zach Tom. Like
I-
Zach Tom, look, he's a really good player.
can't.
He's an all-pro right tackle, and he will be.
talking to people that support their team.
Oh well,
But it will be
I'll
hard.
show up. Maybe they'll win this year, but like to sit there and tell me that they don't have the talent to win the Super Bowl. I don't. When they
No,
compete with these
it's-
teams,
It's going on the. It's just not the talent. You have
But
to
I-
go on the road
yeah, no,
and do
but
it 4
I
times.
get it. It's unlikely, but I think they have the talent, and I think they have
I
more
think
talent than
USC, my
Seattle.
college, has the talent to win a national championship. Guess what?
I think Jordan
gonna
Love,
happen.
I think Jordan Love has the talent and the ceiling to show up in the playoffs in ways that I don't think the Seattle quarterback does.
But Seattle is not going to go win the Super Bowl.
No, I'm just saying. But in a way, I'm just.
There's only 3 teams, in my opinion, that's going to win the Super Bowl out of the NFC: the Lions, Minnesota, Philly.
You think Minnesota
Yeah.
Minnesota.
has more?
Minnesota.
Okay, and they're gonna have to go on the road.
No, I'm saying
No, but they're gonna have to go on the road.
They're going to have to go on the road
Yeah.
and do it.
Uh-huh.
If anybody, those are the 3 teams, in my opinion, that
Yeah.
can win the Super Bowl out of the NFC.
But the Packers can't.
no.
So you have the franchise.
Again,
Minnesota's
you don't have
a historical losers, and
Look,
that is that
but you're
curse.
talking about something different.
That matters too. Like the curse of the Lions.
Facts.
I'm telling you what, those players are gonna pucker up come playoff
Oh,
time.
God, he's talking like a fan.
All
fan. All
please.
fan. Because
Yeah, I am a fan.
you're
Yeah, you're right.
sitting
I'm
there
a fan.
saying pucker up.
I am
when-
definitely a fan.
When you had a chance to go to the playoffs and y'all
House money
pissed
with the
down
Packers.
your own legs against the Detroit Lions at home.
The Packers are
One
the
and in and you lost.
they're the youngest team in the league. Not
No, it
one
wasn't
of,
the young
not the
team.
5th youngest,
No,
not
you
the 20.
wasn't young
They're the
when
youngest team
you were
in the
not
league.
young when you and your star quarterback pee down your leg against the Detroit Lions in Week 17. You don't remember that?
Week 17.
One
win.
and
This
get
year?
in. One
That's 2 years ago.
It doesn't matter. You're talking about history.
That was Aaron Rodgers.
You said the history of the Detroit Lions and their history. Okay.
Detroit Lions.
history's over.
No,
This is a different team.
They have their entire city. Like all Detroit has is the Lions right now. That's all they got. And they're just banking on this year being the year. And God forbid they don't. I'm going to have to but it's like Lions fans, Packer fans, it's like they finally got a winner and they act like they've been there for the past. I mean, I've been a Packer fan since the 3rd grade. I don't know what it's when they have a losing season. I'm like, Jesus, what is this? It's almost refreshing to keep me to make me appreciate what it's like to have a winner. Meanwhile, Detroit, shit, like they've been in the playoffs once in my lifetime, maybe twice.
Would you like to have Justin Jefferson?
Oh, absolutely.
What about Jordan Addison?
Fantastic player. They have a great team.
Would you like to have them catching balls from Jordan Love
over Packer players?
Yeah.
No, I'm happy with their roster.
Keyshawn?
Listen, I would take. Of course, I would take Justin Jefferson over anybody.
Stop.
Yes, I would take Justin Jefferson. The
Jordan Addison?
Yeah, Miss USC.
Well, he went to Pitt first. We borrowed him for a year.
He's very good. Listen, I'm splitting hairs. He's a talented player, but what I'm saying is I like the depth of the Packers roster. I like the talent they have. I like the team they have. I think they're dangerous. They have untapped potential. And if things click, I think they have a shot. And I think people are definitely sleeping on the Packers in ways they shouldn't be.
Go, Pack, go.
Before we let you go, we just want to play a quick game called Who Gets the Rose. All right. So we'll just give you a category, and you just have to choose one of the players or teams. Okay.
I can't hear
So
anything.
who gets a rose for the quarterback?
We got to go Josh Allen, especially that dude scored 14 points against me in one play in fantasy football, and that really fucked me.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to play fantasy.
This guy, and then he followed up with a 6-touchdown game.
He's a baller.
So he's
Who
crushing
gets
it.
the rose?
Josh Allen, right?
Okay. For Packers quarterbacks, who gets the rose? Either Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, or Jordan Love.
Oh, I live in the present, man. I'm gonna go Jordan Love.
Okay, that's fair.
I'm going to go Brett Favre.
Okay, yeah.
Because Favre went to 2 Super Bowls.
I love them. I love all of them. I'm super appreciative of all of them. Like I said, it's all about the present. Go Pack, go.
Let's go offensive rookie of the year. We got Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, or Brock Bowers.
Brock Bowers, yeah. Although, and very impressive with all these 3 guys have done. Jaden Daniels kind of cooled off a little bit. But everything's.
He played well last week.
Oh, he's good. But you know,
I would say Jaden Daniels still.
With what Brock is doing with the team he's doing it with, it feels like he's doing it on his own.
He ain't got nobody else to do it with.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I would go Jaden, Bo, Brock.
All right.
Okay, MVP. We got Josh Allen, Saquon Barkley, Lamar Jackson.
Josh Allen.
Right now, Josh Allen. But that could change tomorrow. They do play Detroit. And if he goes out there and he has one of those Houston Texan games, you just never know.
A symbolic gesture would be giving it to Barkley, just like him and Josh Jacobs now with the Packers. They really have revitalized the running back position, that justify that position in ways that
Saquon certainly has. Yeah. And Derrick Henry.
And Josh Jacobs. Like all 3 of those.
Josh Jacobs is playing good.
No, he's slept on though.
He's doing.
Yeah, I don't understand why the Raiders got rid of him, but that was so weird to me.
But to that point.
And I don't understand why y'all got rid of Aaron Jones. It was like weird.
Well, I
love
Aaron Jones, one of my favorite Packers of all time. But we got rid of him because we have been able to rely on Josh Jacobs in terms of being the workhorse in ways that unfortunately Aaron Jones, he's a little older, he's been a little more injury prone, and Josh Jacobs has been someone that the offense can rely on a little bit more. So I think he's 4 years younger, so that's why.
Coach, we got Tomlin, Dan Campbell, Sean Payton, and
Matt LaFleur. Matt LaFleur is coaching the youngest team in the league. He is look at what he's done with that roster. That's
Coach of the year.
Coach of the year. I mean, again, fantastic coaches, but
for me,
all these guys are just famous and well known, and good for them. They've been around the block.
One guy.
Who?
Sean Payton.
Why?
That's it.
No.
Well, I'm not. Matt LaFleur was in the playoffs.
You want me to get going on Sean Payton?
He's starting a rookie quarterback.
Why does
starting a rookie?
Fine, fair enough. He's good, but why does the media suck Payton, Sean Payton's, in ways that they do, and the disrespect they give to Mike Holmgren? Look at their resumes. I'm sorry, I misspoke. Mike McCarthy, former Packer coach.
Yeah.
Their careers are very much in line.
Yeah,
They got
very-
hired the
very
same
similar.
year. They've won
Very
similar
similar.
Super Bowls. Their winning
similar.
record, and yet like the media treats Sean Payton like he's like it's like
Because-
Bill Belichick
but
won, and then Mike
because-
McCarthy. They treat him like he's some has been.
Because Mike McCarthy has in-game decisions that make you scratch your head. He doesn't have control of
Yeah,
teams.
that's fair.
No quarterback has thrown him under the bus the way Aaron Rodgers threw him under the bus.
Well, that's Aaron Rodgers.
Mike
But
McCarthy, Sean Payton has never been fired. He left on his own when he smelled the team salary
he also
cap
got
in
suspended
flux.
for a year.
Yeah, but that's whatever. Whatever. I don't care about that.
Well, that affects the franchise. If it's
Yeah,
a fan of that franchise, I care.
He got suspended because they were doing whatever they wanted to do in terms of knocking people out.
I mean,
But
game
think
time
about it, though.
decisions that make sense. That's a valid
But
argument.
when you get fired, people look at you differently. He wasn't ever fired.
yeah, but I understand the optics are in favor, but I'm talking about reality. Like, why
But
is
that's the reality. When he was available as a head coach,
no,
and he said he wanted to be a head coach, everybody was lining up to try to figure out how to get him.
But I
everybody.
just think
He
Mike,
chose Denver.
Mike McCarthy's just as good of a coach as Sean Payton, every bit. And I
don't know that to be true.
Okay, well, I mean, you know more than me.
No,
But,
I just don't know that to be true.
But I look at coaching year, and I think in general, again, yeah, Matt LaFleur, I'm a homer, I'm biased, but like, I feel like it's lazy voting. It's like the most famous coach who took the team that was like, they had the worst record and made them the most, but they're not, it's not nuanced in terms of like, you've been in an NFL locker room. There's so many personalities, all the shit that goes into a winning organization. And you take a team that 2 years ago was run by Aaron Rodgers. It was old. People thought they had to go through this whole rebuilding process. And look what Matt LaFleur has done in 2 years with this offense.
It's so funny.
It's just
Y'all
like
say
the
Green
guy doesn't
Bay
get
was-
any credit for that.
One dude leaves, two dudes leave, and the team was old.
No, but their whole roster had to get turned over. And again, they have the youngest.
Who did they turn over?
He's
other
doing
than a quarterback,
their whole roster.
other than a quarterback and Devontae Adams, who else left?
I mean, I can't go through the whole like roster.
I mean, I just think about
you
it.
don't get the youngest team in the league
The
without
center,
turning it over.
what's the center?
Their center
The
is
big offensive lineman that left, that y'all decided needed to go.
he went to
Aaron Rodgers' buddy,
he went to the Chargers. I don't know what's his name.
not Corey Lindsley.
Yeah, Corey Lindsley.
Yeah. So, okay.
I mean, what do you mean? No,
That's-
he went.
that's really
He went years ago. What do you mean? They
So who got the
they have the
rose?
youngest team in the league. You don't get the youngest team in the league without completely overhauling the entire roster.
No, you're only the youngest team in the league because you drafted young players at the receiver position. So you factor in Romeo Doubs and you factor in Reed and you factor in Watson. Y'all not slick. You're not slick at all.
No,
all those other positions, those dudes are right there, prime
No, they're not.
real estate.
Their
What do you
entire
mean? Kenny Clark is prime real estate. Kenny Clark's been in the league forever.
other than Kenny Clark, their entire roster
The
is
kid from
first, second year,
Michigan
and third players.
is a prime veteran.
Rashawn Gary.
Rashawn Gary, prime veteran.
You have
Keyshawn Nixon, prime veteran.
okay. Your name.
What's the corner? What's the other corner?
Jair Alexander? He's
Prime real estate.
hurt all year.
But that doesn't mean anything. If you're talking about youth, they're not young
I mean, the
like
numbers
that.
don't lie. They have
Oh,
literally the
God.
youngest team in the league.
No,
I don't, like,
not the players that's actually playing for you.
that's not.
Josh Jacobs is not 12.
I know, but as a collective, they have the
That's
youngest team in
because
the
you're
league.
factoring in dudes that's on the roster that you just drafted a year ago.
They're playing.
They're on the roster. They should play.
Their entire
AFC
their
champion.
entire team. It's
AFC
first,
champion. Chiefs, Bills, Ravens, Steelers.
I think it's going to be Kansas City.
I mean, until someone knocks off Kansas City,
Yeah, it's probably going
right?
to be Kansas City.
You know,
Gonna
they
have
know
home
how to
field
win.
advantage
They know how to
again.
win.
They know how to win.
Yeah.
It's going to be freezing cold. Somebody's going to come in there, give them a fight for them, run for their money. They're going to pop them, and we're going to be like, damn,
Right.
we're going
I
back
mean,
for like the 18th time.
Until Patrick Mahomes shows, he doesn't like always. He just shows up when he needs to show up. It's going to be him. I think the Bills have the best chance of knocking him off.
Yeah, but they always beat them in the regular season.
And then the NFC champions, I think I know what you'll say, but Eagles, Lions, Vikings, Packers.
I mean, objectively speaking, I mean, I'm most afraid of the Eagles as a Packer fan.
You should be afraid of the Lions. They're going to bite your kneecaps off.
Beat them 3 times, though?
Yeah, I mean,
And Hutchinson will be back.
No, he won't. He might be back for the
Aiden
Super Bowl,
Hutchinson,
and if he comes
come
back for the
back.
Super Bowl, I ain't worried about the guy playing his first game in a year off a broken leg. No offense. Yeah, they're good. These are all great teams. The Packers, I think they have a shot. But if I'm as a fan, I think the Eagles are the scariest.
Okay.
And then the last one, who's getting the rose for the Super Bowl?
Detroit.
Yeah, I'll say the Eagles.
Eagles.
Nah, fuck it. I'm gonna go with the Packers. I'm not gonna argue through it.
They got to get there first. You can't just give them a rose for the Super Bowl. They can't get there.
I mean, I argued with you for 20 minutes.
Oh, God. I'm trying to
Yeah,
educate
you
Go
got
back
the
it up.
Packers now. You
Yeah,
can't.
like what? I'm gonna
I'm trying
abandon them now?
to educate you, man.
Listen, I understand they're not the favorite.
All right. Well, thanks a lot for being
I've
with
had
us,
so
Nick.
much fun, man.
No,
Thanks
it's
for
great.
having me.
It's
much
great.
for coming on.
That's a wrap for today's show. I want to remind all of you again, follow All Facts Pod on social media or wherever you get your podcast feeds, and subscribe on YouTube. Until then, peace and thanks to Nick Viall. Peace.